Welcome back, friends. We're doing a steak dinner on the griddle. Start this thing off with some red potatoes that I karate chopped in half, or maybe I used that knife in the background. Who knows? You decide. But, I quartered them up and wanted to get 3 sides there to put on the griddle. Then some asparagus. If you've never done asparagus before, you just gotta bend it till it breaks. Throw the bottom little pieces away. Those aren't edible. It'll just snap for you real quick there. Get some butter and garlic. That's also going to go with some rosemary on our potatoes. Then 4 more tablespoons of butter. That's going to go with some thyme for our steak. I'll have a full recipe in the description. Speaking of, look at that handsome devil there. It's a ribeye. It's about a 1/2 inch thick. It is delicious. Look at all that fat in there. Pat it dry. Make sure you get it nice and dry. Then I'm just going to do some salt. A generous amount of salt on both sides, and then some fresh cracked black pepper. That's it. That's all I'm doing for seasoning. Don't be scared to put a lot of it on there. Salt and pepper. Be generous with it. Now we'll check out our temperatures. I'm going to get it to pretty hot on the right. That's where I'm going to sear it, and then on the left is where my potatoes are going to go. So that's going to be closer to like 375 on the left. Put some oil down. Put the potatoes down on the left. We'll check the temps again here in a second. Boom, there goes the taters. They're steaming a little bit because I put them in the microwave with some water just to get them started. After a couple minutes, you can see nothing really happening. We just want to make sure all of them are flat, okay? All of them are touching. I don't want the skin down. I want the flesh side down on the griddle so they can start to get that nice deep brown color. Went ahead and domed them, kind of making my little oven. Let's check our temp here now on the right. We're on about a medium, almost 500. Awesome. We're going to sear this steak real high. Put down the oil for a bit. I don't know, I waited about a minute or so just to let the oil get nice and hot before I put down the star of the show. Ooh, looking good. We're going to sear it for about 3 minutes per side. Take a look at the potatoes. We're about 2 minutes in. I know it's bright, I apologize, but the potatoes have not got any color yet, so put them back under. 3 minutes, give it a flip, and yes, sir, look at that crust. Okay, starting off good on the first side. Give it a little pat for good luck here. Come back, check on the potatoes again. We're probably 5 minutes in. There's the color we're looking for. So we'll flip them all individually. Make sure each side, like I said, when I quartered them into all those sides, each one's touching so we can get some nice color on there, get a nice brownness. That's the best part of the griddle. Back under the dome for those potatoes. Now comes those 4 pads of butter, 3 cloves of garlic that are crushed to let out the flavor, and then also some sprigs of thyme. And then what we're going to do here is just continue to baste it by taking all that butter with the garlic and the thyme in there and just keep lifting it with our spatula and basting and basting and basting this delicious steak. Look at that. That is just a beautiful sight to see, folks. You can't go wrong with more and more butter. And you can see it's getting brown, so it's becoming brown butter, which is just more flavor. And this is just a great meal to make on the griddle. It's a full meal. Get yourself a ribeye. Spend the money. We were celebrating this because we hit our anniversary, actually, so that's why we bought it. But just get one for, I don't know, a weekend, whatever makes you happy. Temp it. I'm looking for about 130 to 135, and that's when I'm going to remove it. It was climbing up above 130. It did get to 135. Put it on my cutting board. So now we're going to let it rest for 10 minutes. Remove the garlic and the thyme. Give it 10 minutes to rest before we're going to cut into it. You don't want to immediately cut into it. However, I got that butter and garlic over there, so I figured, hey, let's go ahead and move them taters over in that and start tossing it up there in the butter and garlic, getting some of those steak bits that are still on the griddle. Here comes the other butter with the rosemary that I talked about earlier. So, a lot of butter in this meal, and that's what makes it taste good. Look at how those potatoes are coming along now. They are just getting that steak, butter, garlic. Went ahead and put my asparagus out while the steak was resting. This really doesn't take long. That's why it's going down last. You're talking 4 or 5 minutes on the griddle. Salt, pepper, a little bit of oil. Spread them out thin. toss them over to like roll them and get them on both sides. And that's it. I like my asparagus to have a little bit of a bite to it, so I don't want to overcook it to where it gets stringy. I just kind of put it on there for a couple minutes, top it with some salt and pepper, and then some Parmesan cheese. You can't go wrong with that. And let's cut into this. We were looking for medium rare was my goal here for the steak, and I think we are pretty happy with that. Yes, sir. That looks delicious. You know what's better than steak? Steak and shrimp, a little surf and turf. If you want to see that, check out my hibachi video that's on the screen right now. I think I'm going to go ahead and start my diet next week. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one and keep on griddling.